Okay, so for chilaquiles, this recipe needs a tomato, there's a garlic in there somewhere, a couple of chiles de árbol, and a chile guajillo. Guajillo is not very spicy, but it does have a lot of flavor, and it's like a darker chili. And chiles de árbol have more spice. So just really depending on how spicy you want your chilaquiles to be, that's how much you're going to add. I always cook a couple extra just in case, and then once I cook the chilies, I kind of look and see how many I actually want to use. If you don't want it really spicy, then maybe like 4 would be fine. So yeah, there's 2 types of chili, a tomato and a garlic in there, boiling. And while you're boiling your chilies, you're going to want to cut up your tortillas. And this is the way I cut them up, into little squares. You can cut them up into strips. You can cut them up into bigger squares, smaller squares, whatever you want. You just cut up a couple tortillas. I cut up 6 tortillas. And you're also going to need eggs or an egg substitute if you're vegan. And cheese. Okay, when you're ready to cook your chili, you're going to add it into your blender. There's a tomato, the garlic somewhere in there. There it is. The 2 chilies, which is a chile de árbol, chile guajillo, and salt and pepper. And I also added water. From the chili that I used, from the water that I used to cook the chili, just to liquefy, just for it to liquefy a little bit easier. And you can do this once your chili is soft, and then we're just gonna blend it. Okay, and now on a nonstick pan, you'll put a little bit of cooking oil. You'll let it heat up. So mine is still heating up. And you want to put it maybe like on medium heat. And then you can always just adjust it as you go. And this is where you're going to add your tortilla chips. So you're just going to throw them in there. And basically that's what you're going to make, is you're going to make tortilla chips. Some people like their chilaquiles a lot softer. I like mine a little bit crunchy. So I'm going to make crunchy tortilla chips. If you have a deep fryer, you can also use that if that's easier and faster for you. You know, whatever you got, use what you got and just make it work. So I'm going to fry these chips. And then I will show you the next step. Couldn't find my spatula, so we're using this big old spoon. But as you can probably hear, it is sizzling, and you're just going to want to move it around. You don't want any of these pieces to get stuck. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you want to just make sure by not letting them stick to each other that they're cooking evenly throughout on each little piece. Okay, so once you get the tortilla chips to the texture that you want them, crunchy or not crunchy, then you're ready to add your eggs, or if you're vegan, egg substitute. Okay, so you can do it one of 2 ways. You can scramble the egg in a bowl and then pour it, or you could just add it. That's what I do. I see no point in dirtying an extra dish when it's all going to mix together anyways. And just add a little bit of salt if you'd like. I don't really like to add too much salt because the salsa already has salt. So I just added like a tiny bit. And you're going to cook and move it around and cook the egg thoroughly with the chips. Now at this point, once you cook the egg, you can actually serve it, not like this, it's not cooked yet, it's still, but once you cook the egg, you can just serve it like that without the chili, and that's usually what we do when we're cooking for the whole family. The kids obviously don't want to eat spicy stuff, so we cook this. Once the egg is done cooking, then we just take some out serve that to the kids, which is basically eggs and chips is what we call them. And then for us adults, we add the chili after. So yeah, I really need my spatula because turning this stuff around is not as easy without the spatula. There we go. Oops, the egg's getting stuck there. Oh well. But in this case, the kids already ate. They didn't want to eat this. I'm still going to get a little bit off to the side because I know once the kids see us, even though they already ate their breakfast, they're going to be like, I want some eggs. So I'm still going to separate some right now, just a tiny bit though. Okay, and now we will be ready to add the sauce. So here's the sauce. I'm just going to pour it on in there. Now you can pour it all in there, or what I like to do is I'll pour some and then kind of cook it and then add more if I feel like I need to. Also, you're going to need cheese or your cheese substitute just to kind of give it that cheesy, gooey flavor and feel to it. And also, if you don't end up using all your salsa, what you can do is you can use the rest later for enchiladas for dinner. And it'd be pretty much the same process, except you won't be chopping up the tortillas. I turned off the heat. It's still hot pan, so you're not going to want to touch the pan. But with the heat off, I just added the cheese on top. And as you can see already, it's starting to melt, which is what you want it to do. And then once you mix it together again, it'll continue to melt. See? Ooh, that's deliciousness. And of course, if you wanted to do like a vegan alternative, you wouldn't be using cheese. You'd be using your cheese substitute. But anyway, there we go. And now we're just going to plate it. Oops. Okay, here we go. So here we go. That's the finished product. And you're all done. Enjoy!